What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Unit Eagle Eye, coming to you again with another episode of Late Night with Chig, where I talk about the topical debates around Arsenal and the footballing world. Let's get into it. I think there's only one place to start, and that is the Arsenal. Um, this question constantly has been posed to me the last 24 hours or so, and am I finally Unai Emery out? When I did my watch along video with Lee, he posed an interesting question himself, and that was, where do I stand? If I had to rate it between a 1 to 10, am I Unai Emery in or Unai Emery out? Now, before I come to the answer of this question, I'm going to take you all the way back to the start. Approximately, 15 months ago, something like that, where I was very, very worried 15 months ago. Yes, on the one hand, I was getting something that I really wanted, and that was Arsene Wenger out. I'm not one of these, I've mentioned it before, but I guess I've had a lot of new subscribers since I became an Arsene Wenger out in 2015. So not for a huge amount of time the way others will tell you. So you're not going to get someone who is a naturally impatient person. I tell you that to show you that I'm not a naturally impatient person. I'm not someone who doesn't like to give people as much of a chance as possible. And I felt that with everything that Arsene Wenger achieved, he deserved the time to try and get us out of it and fix it. Except, to me, the thing that wrote in my mind where I wrote him off was in 2015, where in his mind, he felt that the best thing to do in that summer was to only purchase Petr Cech. And I thought that was a fatal error of judgment. Quite honestly, it was arrogance beyond the needs of the team. And that was where I tapped out of Arsene Wenger. I tapped out of that whole situation. And I just felt like we needed to move on for the betterment of the club. And people didn't like it when news broke that Arsene Wenger had finally decided he wanted to move on, although he later on found out it was an actual sacking, which he also admitted. And people didn't like it, but I remember doing a show with Lee and Colin at the time, and I was on my channel and we were just celebrating. For me, it was more relief. It wasn't because I was happy that somebody had lost their job. It was more just finally we can move on past this guy. And then I started getting worried because we were being linked with not the caliber of managers that I'd always dreamed we'd be linked with. It wasn't your Allegri's, even though people were riding the dick of that rumor for ages. It wasn't your Allegri's. It wasn't your Simeone's and the people like that I expected. Even your Carlo Ancelotti's. It was people like Brendan Rodgers, and seeing what Brendan Rodgers is doing with Leicester. Quite honestly, I wouldn't mind him now. But Brendan Rodgers, and it was people like, of course, I'm trying to remember at the time, Eddie Howe, people like that were being linked with a job, and I was like, oh no, what is going on? And then we seem to have stopped on Arteta. We seem to have made a decision to go with Mikel Arteta, which I think would have been a huge error of judgment. He obviously came out very recently and said that he decided that he didn't want the job. I think that is BS. And that is BS of the highest order. I just think that in the end, sense prevailed, and they opted for the manager who was, guess what, an actual manager. The problem is when you come into a situation like that, where you're not necessarily on anyone's radar, you're kind of the best of a bad situation. That's kind of the results that we're getting at the moment. Kind of getting results where not everybody was united in the idea of employing him in the first place, but we kind of all rallied around him and thought, look, we're pretty unfamiliar in this territory as a fan base. If this is Unai's job, let's all get behind him. It could be a lot worse. We could be rocking with Mikel Arteta here. this is the best of a bad situation. Let's get on with it. And I think for me, and this is just my view, I don't think this is happening with everybody, but I think this is happening in a lot of people's cases. Emery got a lot of a pass purely on the basis that people were so desperate to get rid of Arsene Wenger. And because they were so desperate to get rid of Arsene Wenger, you heard Lee several times himself on this channel came out and said he would rather Mr. Plobby in charge. And I'm not necessarily referring to Lee directly, but I think a lot of people kind of almost said, oh, well, you know, let's see, let's continue to see, let's bear with him. And I think he got a lot of time and a lot of passes from a lot of people. But I think a lot of people didn't expect our defending to continue getting as bad as it has been. In fact, in a lot of cases, I would argue it's been worse. It's actually been worse than Arsene Wenger's era. Even some of the hardest Arsene Wenger haters here, even them would say, actually, we are worse somehow than we were 15 months ago. How has that happened? You know, and don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted, people. We were losing to people like Watford and we were doing all this. But in Arsene Wenger's era, I don't remember someone like a Socrates receiving the ball from the goalkeeper and passing it straight to the opposition for them to score. I don't remember that shit. I don't know if you do. I don't remember that shit. So it just feels like we've gone backwards in our progress, in spite of the fact that on paper, our team is better than it was last season. It's better than it was under Arsene Wenger's era, and yet we're making zero progress. We're becoming more of a laughing stock. More people are dismissing us more and more and more. We're the butt of everybody's jokes, everybody's memes. To be honest with you, none of that shit really bothers me. What bothers me is that I go into each and every game and not know what sort of game I'm going to get from Arsenal. We're 5 games in. We're yet to play really well. And that worries me. That worries me because this wasn't off the back of a World Cup or a European Championships. Yeah, all right, there was an African nation thrown in there. But this was off the back of a clean summer season where we should have hit the ground running. And yeah, okay, people will say, yeah, but, you know, our first defense isn't there. You know, when 3 members of your defense is injured, you're going to struggle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on. Norwich had 6 injuries. 6 injuries over the weekend, and they beat Man City. And quite honestly, they didn't look like losing either, if we're being real. So you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that the injuries is what is affecting us. It's the way we're playing. Because, you know, I've come to realize, actually, even if you put Koulibaly in this team, he's going to struggle. If you put Van Dijk in this team, he's going to struggle. One of the things which, and I'll give the boy his credit because I thought he said something that was always in my head, but he's the one that actually said it out loud, and that's Deluded Gunnar. Actually, Deluded Gunnar was a big advocate, not so much necessarily of bringing in a new personnel, even though he said we do need that. Actually, he wanted us to look at the way we defend. The way we defend is ridiculous. Actually, I think it's deeper than just the way we defend. I think it's what we do when we have possession. Full stop. Whether that is defending, whether that is attacking, whether that is trying to play the ball from the back, our possession football has gone to shit. And that's the problem. People are talking about the fact that, you know, there have been 96 shots on goal at Arsenal since the season started, which is flabbergasting to me. But that actually shows that there's a deeper problem there. Not just with our ball retention and what we do with it, but actually the core of the team. And it's pretty hard to talk about the core of the team and not go in on Granit Xhaka because I spent most of the weekend doing that. so I'm going to try and avoid talking too much about him. But what it does highlight to me is that, and I said this the other day, I think we need a DM. I don't mean a Lucas Torreira, and you guys, please hear me when I say this. I think Lucas Torreira is a terrific little player. Tenacious, combative. I think he's a good tackler, but he is vastly overrated by Arsenal fans. Vastly. And actually, you saw what happened when our midfield went against a real midfield in Watford. How long have I been banging on about Doucouré? The real Guna Eagle Eye fans will know how long I've been talking about Doucouré. The one that actually surprised me was that Capoue was also on point yesterday. Bossing the midfield. Two just big, stack-off motherfuckers in the middle of the park. Running the show. Because let's be real here, all good teams should have that core base. I don't know how Liverpool do it, because I would argue they probably don't have as strong a core as Man City or even even arguably a Chelsea. Even though I actually think Fabinho is improved a lot, to be fair. But I tell you what, Liverpool's core is 1,000 times better than ours. It's non-existent. It is. For as well as Guendouzi played last weekend, he was absolutely terrible this weekend. And that, for me, it amounts to, what is the manager doing with these guys? What are we doing in training? Are they too cushy? You know, we're supposedly doing different things to what we were doing under Arsene Wenger. But actually, what sort of training regimen are we doing? One of the things I will never forget, before Emery came on board, I remember watching this interview about how, was it Cavani or someone like that, was ridiculing Emery's, and Ben Arfa. Ben Arfa and Cavani were ridiculing Emery's training methods, saying that the videos technique, the one that we've praised for so long, is the most ridiculous thing. Like, apparently it patronizes the players. It makes the players feel like this guy is not serious. Is he actually showing us a video instead of being out there and doing the things that are necessary? When you hear all this and when you see the results that are being produced and you see the mistakes, and for me, and I'm trying not to kick in. I'm trying. But to me, let's just look at it as facts. I'm trying to take my opinion out of this. For me, one of the fundamental errors of Unai Emery in the last week is this Granit Xhaka situation. I get what he was trying to do. He has somebody that he ultimately believes, and he wanted to make sure that he installs the most amount of faith in him that he possibly can. So he decided to talk him up. He decided to do this. He decided to do that. He decided to reinstall his confidence. But I've said it from day one. I don't understand the way Emery's mind works. Because you had a player in Callum Chambers. I've said this from the get-go. You had a player in Callum Chambers who came in, played against Newcastle, played well. We had a clean sheet. And the reward for that was, sit down, bruv. David Luiz is here, so he's got to play. That is the sort of thing that Arsene Wenger used to do. Do you remember? When who was my man that got himself Lucas Perez? All right, forget the way Lucas Perez then turned out. But Lucas Perez got himself a hat-trick in the Champions League. The following week was told to sit on the bench. How do you install confidence? All right, even if you want to do that, but then you don't take out the motherfuckers that are actually making mistakes. You had David Luiz like an idiot. Oh my gosh, it's almost like I predicted it would happen against Liverpool. I remember having a huge rant about David Luiz. I was like, people are gassed about this guy, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. Go back to my welcome to David Luiz video. I don't get it. I don't understand why people are so gassed about it. Because I thought to myself, if I'm Unai Emery, and I'm trying to link this back to the reason for this video. If I'm Unai Emery, and my ball come to me going, listen, David Luiz is available. Do you want us to get him? I'll be like, no, I'm good. I'll make it work. If it's a choice between no one and then go and get someone of quality in January versus get double agent Luiz, I'll tell double agent Luiz, stay where you are. Son. We don't need you that bad. 100%. Try asking me then. I would have done it. This is what I would have done. This panic buying is something that the club has been too associated with, which is why we've ended up with people like Mikel Sylvester. That's why we've ended up with people like William Gallas. Because it's panic buying. Oh, well, we couldn't get Upamecano, which, let's be real, was always unrealistic. It just was. It was always unrealistic. So the solution was apparently go and get David Luiz, the person that Frank Lampard. Remember Frank Lampard? Remember how all of you lot were laughing at Frank Lampard before? My man has got them youngsters playing. Got them youngsters playing. Frank Lampard was like, you know what, bruv? You're probably fourth choice defender. Arsenal being, oh, whoa. That means he must be a starting defender for us. Go in and walks in and go and get David Luiz. And that, to me, must be an Emery call. Because I would be shocked. I would be shocked if my man was dead against it and the board said, no, we're getting it. These are decisions that I can only assume you're making. Granit Xhaka makes mistake after mistake after mistake. The man shouldn't even be in the squad. How much more captain? Captain, bruh. You're going to reward him and be captain. And you're wondering why these motherfuckers are fucking up. Forget the fact that Granit Xhaka is captain. The start of the season, start of last season, we're talking about 5 captains. Who does this? Even Arsene Wenger doesn't do 5 captains, for fuck's sake. 5 captains. Who would think 5 captains is the way forward? And I've been sitting on this and not blowing my top because I get it. Because as much as I'm bitching, as much as I'm moaning, as much as I'm doing all those things, I understand that he took over the impossible job. I've said it from day one. There are 3 jobs I would not take. The England football manager job, the Prime Minister job, and the Arsenal manager job, because you're never going to win. Especially taking over that Arsenal job for Arsene Wenger. No chance, son. You've got no chance. So I was always very understanding, particularly last season, about, okay, well, he doesn't really have his team. The board haven't really backed him. And that's why I was so pissed off at Stan. Because you've asked this poor man to do a job, and you've not given him the tools to do it. Go and support him so that he has the tools to do it. He doesn't have that excuse. Because this summer, he was supported. This summer, they asked him, what do you want? We'll go and get it for you. Whatever you want, not even worried about the dough. We'll go and get it for you. And we will find a way to balance the books as best as possible. But the main thing is that we give you what you need to get us back into the Champions League. And all right, we got flipping Saliba next season, who, by the way, watched the game at the weekend, probably looking at it like, what the fuck have I joined? What have I joined? But here's the thing, for all the whether you think we play negative football, positive football, passing out from the back, Emery has to take blame for what happened at the weekend. It was the wrong lineup. It was the wrong approach. You didn't show Watford respect, whether it was at halftime before the game. When it comes to the fact that at the end of the game, we're lucky to have come out with a point, you know what time it is. And we were lucky. Mind you, that was without Troy Deeney, who's normally the person that gives us the headache. We've got some serious questions to ask ourselves as players, as clubs, as coaches, so that moving forward we can address these issues. Because I tell you what, Aston Villa ain't going to be easy. Villa, we tend to have problems. Whether it's at Villa or at home, we tend to have problems at Aston Villa. And then just when you think to yourself, oh, it can't get much more trickier, you get United at OT. And let's be real here, Old Trafford, we have brain freeze. I don't care how supposedly shit United are, we will almost certainly have brain freeze going over that. But I think for me, whilst I appreciate the job was an impossible job, what I expected, what I hoped was more of an impact, positive impact on the team, particularly this year. And I've not seen that. We've kind of picked up where we left off. Just terrible defending, great going forward, not much contribution from the midfield. And the contribution that we do get in Adonis Ceballos, for some reason, Emery is intent on suppressing. Whether you think, oh, well, it was too hot that day. The Spanish guy apparently was too hot under 24 degrees. But okay, whatever, right? The little quality that we do get from midfield, it's being suppressed. And now you've got this Nicolas Pepe, someone who I still believe will be a superstar. And I'm coming for every single one of the motherfuckers that talk about shit about Nicolas Pepe. I'm convinced he will come through. But come through and fight for what? Because to me, I think Emery needs to be the one to give this guy the best chance of succeeding. Succeeding in a team that's playing positive football. Making honest decisions about players around him. Stop trying to shoehorn Granit Xhaka and Guendouzi into the same side, because every time he does that, one of them plays poorly. There's a reason for that. I don't have a fucking PFA badge. And I can see this. I can see that Socrates, his form has completely dipped since playing next to David Luiz. So instead of losing your brain and saying, okay, clearly these motherfuckers can't play together, so I'm going to have to mix and match them with a Callum Chambers, for example. Just try and do that until holding it up, ready, running, ready to go. You persist, and these mistakes will continue and continue. And that's why Thursday's lineup is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see, first and foremost, what approach is he going to take? Will Chambers play that game? Because for some reason he seems to have this, he seems to have the opposite problem he has with Granit Xhaka. He seems to have with Chambers for some unusual reason. So 14 months on, 15 months on, where do I stand with the Unai Emery debate? So I go back to what Lee said, and Lee asked me the question, where do you stand on this, bro? Are you like Emery out or what? How about 7? If Emery out is a 10 and Emery in is a 1, I'm about a 7. Because I get the arguments. I completely get the arguments because he's frustrating people. We expected our team to have been made more of a progress than it has. And that has to be the responsibility of the manager. Coupled with the fact that he's backing an error-prone individual like Granit Xhaka. Regardless of whether or not you think Granit Xhaka is the best thing since sliced bread, surely he shouldn't be a captain while he's in poor form. Let's let's take bias out of it. While he's in poor form, he should not be candidate number one to be captain of this football club. But he will be. And that's why that boy will never learn. He'll never understand the error of his ways. Instead, he'll give these interviews where he's the most arrogant person in the room, talking about, oh, well, no one talked about the chances that we wasted and created and wasted. And I guess that, when we came out, we were scared. You were scared? Yeah, against Watford. And, I'm scared because I've got to play Aston Villa next week. And you never know, the return of Dion Dublin might come back and bang in a couple of goals against me because I'm so much of a pussy that I can't handle it. I don't want that. I want a team that's going to fight every single week, that's going to recognize that they have a challenge that they need to reach, that they need to aspire to get to that. At the moment, you just have this team that goes through the motions. They're in a day camp. And even our superstar strikers losing patience. So where do I stand on this debate? I'm not Emery out. But would I be open to a new manager? Sure. I'm open to the discussion. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a discussion. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting pressure on the manager, holding the manager accountable for some of the things that are happening. I don't think there's anything wrong with having that conversation, because guess what? That's just what the reality of the situation he's in, the contractual situation he's in. He was tasked with bringing us back into the Champions League. A very simple task, in theory. And if anything, we look further away from it than we've ever looked under Unai Emery. And if we continue to finish outside of that, to me, it's not even a conversation. It's not even a debate. It's not a matter of being at 7 or any other number. Unfortunately, he loses his job. So, in my view, he's got a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it. And I want him to stop fucking about and go and drag this team to the line. When people are asking me bullshit questions like, oh, well, should we concentrate on the league? And no, I want to win something. What are you talking about? I want to win the Europa League. I want to win. I want to do as well as we can in the league, but I also want to actually win something. Sue me. Got to a damn final last year being shit. Got to a semi-final being supposedly worse than shit. Why can't we win this thing? And that's where the start of our long journey and struggle with this club comes, is on Thursday. Because on Thursday, by the time Thursday rolls around, Sunday will be a forgotten memory. Well, it'll be there, maybe not forgotten, but it'll be a distant memory. And we'll have that hope again. It's a different competition. They're not as combative. They're not as going to close down. And I'll tell you what, early prediction, Granit Xhaka is going to look every fucking bit a superstar. Because he'll have that time. He'll have that space to do whatever the fuck it is Granit Xhaka does. And if it gives him the confidence to do whatever the fuck he needs to do in the league, so be it. But Emery, you name this motherfucker captain, on your head be it. You're 7 with me. I'm not calling for your head yet. But you deserve every criticism you get. And now it's time for you to stand the fuck up. Simple as that. No other discussion should be had. So anyway, that's my rant over with. You guys let me know what you think. Please do leave it in the comments below. I'm not going to stay very long because some of us got work in the morning. So I'll make sure I get my ass into bed. I'm going to stay with you for 15 minutes or so just to see what you guys are saying. Please do stick a like on this video. There's about 65 people watching. Thank you. I know it's a late night one, so 65 is not the worst number, quite honestly. So do stick a like on this video, please, and help other people notice this. Thank you for subbing as well. I see you, mate. I see you. Thank you for that. Right, let me just go into the chat and see what you lot are saying. Boots is actually in my chat room for once. What's going on? So it's Busted Charity. Oh my goodness. This must be a late one. Chig, honestly, mate, do you feel we've improved since last season? No, I don't. No, I don't. I think on paper, our team is better. Do I feel we've improved? No, I don't. And this past weekend proved it to me. Good idea, VCC. It's 6:15. It's 11:15 here. Let's see, just in case I missed any donations. Oh. Donate to the to the Afamacano fund. Oh dear. All right, guys, what do you think? Are you Emery in, Emery out? Come on, give me something. Ask me any question you like. 14 minutes and I'm out. It's going to be a hard finish. 14 minutes. Rafa Benitez would be a better for Arsenal than Emery. So, funny enough, so a lot of people are calling for Jose Mourinho. For me, Rafa Benitez would be a better option because Rafa would definitely sort out the defense. I think he would relish the opportunity at a big job like Arsenal. And quite honestly, I'd have Rafa. I'd have Rafa. Would have Rafa. Vartan, thank you for the donation, mate. Much appreciated. The fact that we're talking about this means he shouldn't be in the job. We need defensive solidarity, and that's not what we see. I agree with you mostly. I do agree with you. The only thing I like about what he teaches that we didn't have in the previous manager is I quite like this idea that you have to work hard, but it's not translating onto the pitch. 70 people watching now. Thank you. Please do stick a like on this video, guys. Please. It's only 24 likes. I'd really appreciate it. If you could drive that through 50 for me while we're on live, that'd be fantastic. Mourinho's expired. So many people don't understand why I don't want Mourinho. For me, it's got shit to do with Arsene Wenger because him and Arsene Wenger are boys apart from anything now. It's more about the fact that this guy is basically a walking disaster. He goes into a club. Year one, everything is roses. Year two, friction starts and he starts falling out with half the players. Year three, he gets hounded out of a club. That tends to be his pattern. I'd rather save myself that discussion and those rants. I'd rather he just do his thing on Sky. I think he's quite good on Sky. Who would I have to replace Emery? I've said this before. Nigglesman would be my first choice. Allegri would be my second, and Simeone would be my third. Chig, these short goal kicks are killing us. The playing out from the back stuff is bullshit. And it's also just not knowing when to pick and choose when to do it. I think that's the more disturbing thing to me. But yeah, absolutely. They're taking their toll on us. Do you think we can get Nagelsmann? Possibly. Possibly, Iffy. Depends on the offer. Any coach that can coach these players should be our priority. Yeah, Yeah, post Emery is what I'm talking about. If yeah. Delhi, Chig, based on what you just said, Mourinho is not an option on a 2-year contract. No, not for me. Not for me. I'd like someone, I don't necessarily mind the length of deal that they have. I just want someone that actually has an interest in improving the club, not in enhancing his ego, which Jose it would be all about at this stage of his career. You know, he's been sacked from United, he's been sacked from Chelsea twice. He has something to prove, so I could understand that argument, but I feel like it needs to be someone who's invested in actually improving the club and not trying to repair his reputation, which I think Jose would be about. Chig, the only one of the three I would take is Simeone. He ain't coming. Buster Rhymes. Buster Cherry. And why do you say that? And yes, I would love Simeone. Simeone, in a lot of ways, would be my dream signing. Wouldn't be a popular one because he would have us playing defensive football, and a lot of fans would not be used to that shit. But he would sort out that fucking defense. The football terrace is full of United fans, mate. So they are gonna be hating on Pepe because they wanted him. So you'll find that a lot of United fans are quite salty and are enjoying the Pepe hate at the moment because they wanted him. So yeah, it's not a huge surprise. Playing out from the back is not a problem. These damn players who cannot process. See, here's the thing. BJ, in a lot of ways, I can't believe you made me say that, but that's their actual name, BJ. You're somewhat right, actually. I actually don't think. Listen, a lot of teams are playing out from the back, people. It's not just us. But I just feel like sometimes when the option isn't there to play out from the back, why take it? Do you know what I mean? Why not just hit it long? And they tried to do that yesterday, but it was like they were hitting it in stupid places, like down the middle and instead of like to the side and actually trying to pass to someone. It was just annoying. Yesterday was an annoying game to watch all round. If Emery goes, we'll probably hire someone, Arsenal old boy, bring back Wenger into a club capacity. Yeah, I agree. I can so see someone like Freddie stepping up into the role and maybe Wenger stepping into the kind of executive role position. Socrates and Ainsley's can't play at the back. That's the problem. I think there's more. It's just more than Socrates. You're killing yourself if you don't put Louise in there. You know, you're killing yourself if you don't put Kolasinac in there. They are all to blame. Chig, everyone on. Oh, I can't even see that. Fucking hell, I think I need glasses. What's funny is that Mourinho has been playing the coast eye on our players like Saliba and Pepe. Oh yeah, I'm sure he's after that job. I'm sure he is. A lot of people, listen, let's have it right. It's still a big job. There'll still be a lot of managers that would love an opportunity in the job. I'm going to twist it. All right, 6 more minutes and I'm out of here, guys. 6 more minutes. Exactly, that's it. The players just go with the long to reset your shape. They play continental football. What's funny is that Mourinho has been playing. Okay, yeah. I think Emery's done okay considering what Wenger left him. I suppose it is important to remember Emery didn't lose the game yesterday, but it was just the performance. It was the 31 shots. It was the fact that, we were 2-0 up and we let go of the lead. It was the fact that we were 2-0 up and even I predicted we'd lose that lead. Go and look on Lee's channel. I just said I did not like this 2-0 lead because it's a dangerous scoreline. As if I could see what was about to fucking happen. Because I know my team, bro. I know my team. Yo, Chig, why does Kolasinac get a blight for not being able to defend when it's in the title? I don't know who's giving in the blight. To be honest with you, he doesn't get the blight of me. I think it's because he got an assist yesterday. I think he got 8 assists last season. So a lot of people tend to give him that kind of grace or that pass, if you like. But to me, Roland Tierney coming in. And then the other thing that Emery did, which Arsenio was just reminded me, is that he played Ozil after months of screening him out. He just suddenly started Ozil. It's not even like he gave Ozil an appearance. He started Ozil. And don't get me wrong, Ozil I don't think was that bad, but it was just like, oh, come on, like what sort of team is this? It was just so weird, so lopsided that there was always going to be problems against Watford. This is a project for Emery. Our defense is a big worry. Yo, Chig, sorry I'm late. Just came from school. No problem, Starboy. Hope school went well. Emery, all of a sudden, looks like a small-time coach. The players didn't respect. Please, thank you, Chris Madsen. Please do drive up those likes, guys. Emery is Spanish. Donkey for real. Come on now. Easy. Yo, Chig, would you like to see a back three with Chambers? I think it could help solidify us. 100%. I mean, my gosh, Chelsea fans told us that David Luiz is better in a 3. Put him in a 3. Although, to be honest with you, the way Socrates is playing, I'm not sure he gets in my 3. But yes, 100%. 100%. All right, guys, two more minutes. Let me just wrap things up before we wind down these couple more minutes. Thank you so much to everybody that watched my review with Lee and my player ratings with Lee. Check out the end of this video. I will put that up. It'll be floating around my head somewhere. Also, tomorrow I will have set up my Chig Flicks YouTube channel, where I'll be talking about movies, TV shows, things like that. I have just finished today or this morning the Top Boy Netflix series, which for those of you in the UK should know what that's about. So I'll do a review on that. That'll be my first review for the channel. So do keep an eye out on that. In the meantime, you can subscribe to this channel. Please do drive those numbers up ever so close to 6,000. Touching distance of that motherfucker. Touching distance. I'll be back also on Thursday with Lee on Lee's channel doing another watch along, and then back to do a review stroke player ratings for that. I think that's pretty much it. I'll take a couple more questions and I'm out of here. Chig, will I go and see the Joker movie? Does the bear shit in the woods? Absolutely, I will. Top Boys, never heard of it, Chig. Come on now. Top Boy you've heard of. Come on now. One more question and I'm out. One more. Please do crush that like button, guys. Who is my captain? There you go. We can finish on that. Lacazette. Very, very simple. Very, very easy. He'd be captain. 100% captain. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am off to bed because my eyes are drooping. I'm tired. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Deuces.